but I'll give it a shot. My most recent book, I'm going to read a segment from chapter 7. Every time I read this on radio or somewhere I am, I get a good laugh on it. Bear with me, I lost my spot. Oh, that was good. Thanks a lot. Alrighty. Okay, this is one of my favorite sections. On our way back to the hotel, we stopped at Starbucks for a coffee. I got a seat while Jerry got the order. I was just about to sit down when I noticed our friendly neighborhood Barney Fife was... What was up with this? My paranoia was kicking in as to why I was seeing him everywhere I went. He was at the scene when we got arrested for allegedly killing Lou, and I knew I was Lou's ex. I saw him at the restaurant that night after I was sprung, and this morning on the beach. Either Daytona was his own little microcosm where you could see the same people over and over, or the dude was following us. But why? I wanted to go and ask him, but why buy trouble if I didn't have to? Still, it gave me a creepy feeling, and having been stalked before, I didn't like any more this time. Jerry brought our coffees, and we didn't even talk about the police officer sitting 2 seats back. But when we were leaving, the cop muttered, "Good night, Mrs. Fitz. Enjoy the honeymoon while it lasts." I could swear the man was sneering at us. I did nothing to acknowledge the skinny little creep, but just waved coyly and made tracks for the exit. Back at the hotel, I jumped in the shower to get rid of the creepy feeling and to clean up after the hot night of dancing. Plans for the next day included getting some of our pictures saved on CD so I could clear the card in my camera. So I figured I might as well develop the ones from Lou's camera. I was at the Kodak kiosk doing just that when I felt the hair on the back of my neck perk up. So I whipped around to find the creepy cop behind me. Okay, this is getting really old really fast. Do you have an odd fixation for following tourists around, or are you just being a jerk? Mrs. Fitz, dear, no need for a meltdown. I just happen to be at the same photo kiosk as you. Yeah, I bet. Oh my, someone is paranoid. He laughed. Maybe you really are guilty of that guy's murder and used the roadkill scenario as a cover-up. Maybe you staged it to just divert attention. I may have to take my thoughts on this to the detective on the case. People were starting to stare at us and backing way out of the store. The police officer was in his civvies and couldn't do anything at that point. He was grinning evilly, thinking he was getting the better of me. I said straight up, "Too late, Fife. We've been cleared of all charges, so don't even go there." His weasel-like face turned bright red. "Quit calling me Fife. My first name, not even Barney. It's Dave Meacham." With that, he turned and stomped away from the kiosk. So now my would-be stalker had a name, should I need to use it. I continued to copy the photos from my card and printed off the ones from Lou's SIM card. I went to pay for my pictures, and the clerk looked at me oddly. "What do I owe you?" $6. She was clearly rattled by the clash with the creepazoid. "It's okay, dear. I'm not going to rob or kill you. There's no need to be nervous. My friend who just left is highly delusional, thinks he's a cop or something. Most people have a thing for FBI or the CIA. He just wants to be at home and History with Andy, Aunt B, and Opie. Everybody who knows me knows I have another passion besides writing. I happen to be this sucker for stand-up comedy. And 7 years ago, I got the opportunity, thanks to Mark and CMHA, to bring in stand-up for mental health. And there I got to try out my comedy shop. So here's a little taste of what I did 6 years ago. And if Mark is going to fall off his chair again, somebody want to get him a pillow? It's a hard floor. I've tested it out already. I have had a mental health issue for the last, I don't know, since I was 10. It started with Big Bird. I had a phobia. Yeah, it didn't really help that my parents let me watch the birds when I was 5. But as I grew up, I was bullied, just like a lot of kids I knew. Didn't do a whole heck of a lot for my self-esteem, but it really did wonders for my 5-minute mile. Now, as I got even older, I grew up, got married, had a family. Now, after 9 years, that marriage went south. And I really got the idea that things were really wrong in the state of Denmark. And he looked at me one day and said, "You're dysfunctional." Naturally, I was shocked. I had no clue he knew words that big. So, as a single person, once again, with a young child, I try to get back into social life. Now, instead of doing the normal things like going to singles dances and cruising the produce aisle, I went and I looked for weapons of mass self-destruction. You may know them better at eHarmony and Match.com. Now, eventually, I did find another Mr. Right at my local CMHA. Things are really great. We have a great marriage. We've been married for 10 years now. Now, I think the secret to a happy marriage, when you've got two people with mental health issues, you choose your bad days really carefully. So we agree. I take Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. He gets Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Sundays we fight over. Rock, scissors, paper. Real rocks, real scissors. So think of life with two people married like a sort of a mental health version of Survivor. You got your bipolars on one side of the aisle and people with generalized anxiety on the other. At the time, my daughter was living at home, but she got smart and voted herself off the island. Now, the mental health issues even translated to my pets. My cat took a header at a 6th floor window, broke one of her arms. Well, that was fine. She ended up in a cast, walking funny for 6 weeks, but my friend thought it was really cute to tell suicidal kitty jokes and asked me if she was catatonic at the time. I said, look, any more jokes? Psycho kitty's coming to live with you. Thank you.